Hello everyone, today we have two very special figures to unbox. Now, these are from the Primal Attack and Cretaceous lines respectively. These are two herbivores, and we are going to unbox them today. One of them is a hadrosaur, and the other is a ceratopsian, so let's get right into it. First, we have the Edmontosaurus, and next we have the Sinoceratops. Edmontosaurus was a dinosaur from the Cretaceous period. Now, this was a hadrosaur, and it lived in North America, in what is now the USA and Canada. Now, these animals were quite docile. They lived in herds and mainly just ate ferns and cycads and that kind of thing. Low-lying plants. As you can see, they weren't very tall. Edmontosaurus had a very nice crest, as you can see over here. These crests were probably used to find mates, and Edmontosaurus grew about 13 meters or 43 feet long. You can see that they have very muscular legs, but this wouldn't be to kick predators, to deter them away. Instead, these would probably be used for running from predators, as hadrosaurs typically ran from predators as they didn't have many defenses, as you can see. Edmontosaurus means Edmonton lizard, as it was discovered in Edmonton, a place in Alberta, in Canada. So as you can see, it says Edmontosaurus here, and it says Primal Attack, Soundstrike, Edmontosaurus. So here's its action feature, over here, displayed in this blue area, and here's Owen and Velociraptor blue. And then obviously there's a Jurassic World logo in the background. And then that's just the action feature displayed in more detail, and then there's the Triceratops and cryolophosaurus Soundstrike figures there. Also, check out the video that I have on the cryolophosaurus Soundstrike figure. It'll be linked in the description. Alright, so let's get this out of its packet. Alright, so here is the Edmontosaurus out of its package. And as you can see, it's a pretty light figure, so it's quite easy to carry around. So let's get into the details, shall we? So there are some nice stripes going along, kind of brownish color covers the entire tail. Same for this side. And I like how these legs are painted in brown and then they just kind of go out like a straight line, well, kind of a curvy line into its back. And then these color patterns are quite nice. I quite like the color variations. And blue and yellow, two of my favorite colors. Blue surrounding the face and yellow on top of its crest. As for the articulation, you can just move the legs generally like this. You can move the legs outward like this. And as for the action feature, that's its action feature displayed, which is quite a cool Soundstrike feature, as it kind of strikes you with its crest as you turn its tail around. Alright, so let's put the Edmontosaurus over here, and let's get into our next figure. So this is the Cretaceous Sinoceratops. Sinoceratops means Chinese horn face, as it was obviously discovered in China. It was a centrosaur, a ceratopsian that was quite a close relative to Centrosaurus, which is the name that encompasses its family. So as you can see, unlike Triceratops, it has a curved horn, like similar to Styracosaurus and other ceratopsians in the Centrosaur family. Interestingly, Sinoceratops also has a frill that its horns curve outwards rather than inwards, unlike other ceratopsians. Sinoceratops was discovered in the Zhucheng area in China, where it probably had to deal with predators such as Zhucheng tyrannus, which was a large species of tyrannosaur. Obviously, they had many defenses, as you can see with its frill, and they were very large and bulky, similar to the Edmontosaurus, even though they are from completely different families of dinosaurs. Sinoceratops itself, similar to the Edmontosaurus, has not really been featured in the Jurassic World franchise, except for in Camp Cretaceous. There is also a very famous hybrid that the Sinoceratops has, known as the Sinospinoceratops, which is basically kind of looks like a Sinoceratops with a tail on its back. Alright, let's get the Sinoceratops out of its package. Alright, so as you can see, the action feature is once again displayed here, and then these are the Camp Cretaceous characters and Carnotaurus on the package, and then here it says Sinoceratops. As you can see, you get a nice lush forest background, and it says Jurassic World Camp Cretaceous on the side. And similar to the Edmontosaurus, here's the action feature displayed in its full detail. Alright, so now we have the unboxed Sinoceratops figure. And as you can see, compared to the Edmontosaurus, they scale up pretty well. They're about the same length. Edmontosaurus slightly longer though. And that's how it was in real life. It was slightly longer than the Sinoceratops. So, as you can see, there are some nice little yellow flecks along its frill, but its main body color is a kind of grayish texture with lighter linings along the back. Its horns are in a nice gray color, and it has a green beak that it used for snipping plants. So for the articulation, you can see that there is a nice movement of the legs here, and same for the back legs. The back legs can stretch really far, like basically a 360, nearly. Now here's the action feature of the Sinoceratops. Yeah, so these are quite cool features from the Soundstrike toy line. As a slight note of difference, you can see that the two claws are painted for the Edmontosaurus, but they aren't for the Sinoceratops. So one special feature about this Edmontosaurus figure here is that you can see it kind of stands on its hind legs. As for the Sinoceratops figure, I think the special feature is that you can kind of see this hole in its frill, which we haven't seen in any other dinosaurs produced by Mattel. So if you enjoyed this video, please make sure to like and subscribe, and thank you for watching.